Welcome back to a very wet Shenington. KGP is up next. There were 3 drivers in this coming into the round. One of them was Bobby Game. I spoke to him earlier. Bobby, as things stand, the weather's pretty miserable at the moment. Does that suit you, the weather?
No, to be honest, I prefer it to be dry, but I think everyone would prefer it to be dry, really. It's never nice when it's this wet anyway.
You've still got final 1 to go. You've still got a slight championship lead on drop scores going into the televised race, which is the last race of the day, final 2. Looks like it's going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be close, whichever way you look at it. It's just, there's a lot of points to still go. We've obviously only done 1 heat, and I think Mark gained 1 point back on me, so we've got another heat and 2 finals. It's still a lot of points, but just got to see how it goes, really. You're
like the Ryan Giggs of karting. You're like 40. You're still 41. Well, your mum tells you you're 41 anyway, so I guess that must be true. So you're 41. Danny Curl's 16. Yeah. Like the Ryan Giggs of karting. You're old enough to be his dad.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've got a daughter that's turning 17 in January. So.
And what are you hoping for? Obviously, you've got 3 British Championship titles. No, the last one were in the 90s, but you had the first one, I think, when you were 12 years old in '84. To win a 4th at the age you're at would be absolutely fantastic, and that's, I guess, why you've come back into it, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, we came back into it because we enjoy it, and I think a lot of people forget why they do it, and it comes a bit too serious. We enjoy it. We have a bad meeting, you can still go home with a smile on your face because you've had fun, and if we can come away with a win at the end of it, even better.
Well, that interview was conducted earlier in the day. I can tell you that on the Saturday in the first heat, all of the 3 main championship contenders had a problem in the first heat, but then Bobby Game in final 1, as you can see, Kart on the stand. That a red flag came out. He had a puncture, wasn't able to restart, and he'll start this final down on P21. He's effectively out of championship contention. Mark Litchfield comes into this televised final with a comfortable championship lead. Danny Curl goes off P4, but his earlier poor results in the heats have pretty much put pay to his championship. Litchfield would have to be ditched off the track, and for Danny Curl to come through and win it, for him to have any chance whatsoever.
So Litchfield leads away then with all of that still to play for us. Hurst is trying to defend from the 17 of Hodgson, who goes through. Oh, it's pandemonium in the hairpin. Dear oh dear, several drivers coming together. We'll take another look at it. Oh, that's Gornall getting a bit of a hit there. Gilliland has spun around. Flynn is in the mix. So too is Toby Sowry. And we saw the 37 of Dan Stocks on the infield, just trying to avoid it all. Everybody just about picks their way through. But carnage on the first lap then. There's a nice little move from several drivers. 2 together. Danny Curl and Jack Partridge both make their moves. And that is Oliver Hodgson out of the race. Well, he was making a move down into the hairpin, but his race is over already. So Hodgson is out of it. Litchfield is leading. Luca Hurst is second. And in third position, Stefan de Resta. So a very interesting early start to this race. Interesting as well. On the first lap, I saw Dennis Gorman in the 3 right down at the back of the field as the 67 of Curl makes another move. But Gorman obviously was joining Bobby Game and Scott Allen in the number 5, starting down the order. There is Allen in the 5, making a move on Bobby Game. So he is fired up for this one as he looks onto the tail of James Gornall. So it looks like Allen and Game are both making their way through the field. Allen is up to 7th, Game is up to 8th place, and that's after just 2 laps. So we have ourselves a championship battle royale setting up nicely here. A little deeper into the race, Litchfield leads. De Resta makes the move for second on Hurst. That was nicely done. 4th is the 74 of Partridge. And then we've got Danny Curl, and it looked to me like Scott Allen in the 5 as well, with Bobby Game a little way behind. So they're all right in the mix of the top 10. Nice little move up the inside comes Toby Sowry on the 27 of Flynn. They've already had 1 incident today. They don't want another one, and Dan Stocks in amongst that lot as well. So, a very interesting early start to this race, but Litchfield is on the march here, and don't forget what he's interested in. He's won 5 Super 1 titles already. Today, he is going for the record. 6 Super 1 championships. Nobody has ever done that.
And Bobby Game going for his 4th British title as well, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen now. Litchfield just got to keep it on the black stuff and not get involved in any incidents. He's had 2 5-place penalties coming into last laps when he was second, going for first. And if that hadn't been the case, he'd pretty much have it already sewn up. So he's almost in the same position here, well out front, that we just saw Daniel Borton in the KZ1 race. So long as Mark doesn't get excluded for being underweight or some technical infringement, he should be okay, as we see a move for the spot, but can't quite get that done. That was the 26 car of Ryan Green on Brandon Williams. Ryan just can't get that done. But looking feisty nevertheless. 51 kart there, Toby Sowery. 55 is Joe Porter. Joe's had a reasonably decent season here in KGP. I think he's going to be doing the Formula Ford Championship next season. He's supposed to be doing that this season. Loses a spot there to Toby Sowery. Sowery up the inside. Be interesting to see how Joe gets on in that. Pretty much a dad and lad team. The Porters, well, mum, dad and lad anyway.
And Dan Stocks is on the inside of Porter as well, so 2 places lost there for Joe Porter, and if he's not careful, he's going to fall into the clutches of Jamie Flynn as well. Further into the race, that's a problem for the 23. By the look of things, things are not going well with Aaron Dew's karts, so I think Dew is going to be parking up on the sidelines before too long. Bit of a slow manoeuvre from him. De Resta still battling up for a victory, trying to close in on Litchfield. In second place, Luca Hurst has actually dropped back a little bit. There is Litchfield, having just... well, hang on a minute, that's Allen right on the tail. So Scott Allen has come up from the back end of the grid to second place, and he's charging after Litchfield. So Mark Litchfield, with a chance to get his 6th title here, is coming under pressure from Scott Allen. So it certainly isn't done yet, but Mark Litchfield has had all sorts of fights and dramas over the course of the years. He's been in a championship fight more than once. He knows how to take a title, and I'm fairly sure he's going to be ready for anything that Scott Allen's got ready for him in the closing laps of this race. Litchfield is no slouch in terms of his ability to take a title. 5 championships so far in Super 1, of course, making him one of the gods of the sport. Into the right-hander hairpin he goes once again. He looks back, he knows that Allen is there, and Stefan de Resta's not too far away either. Scott Allen appears to be a man on a mission here, really charging hard to close in, and he's got to be careful that he doesn't get in the mix of a championship fight here, because of course it's Litchfield versus Game, and Allen wanting to finish on a high at the end of the season, but it could end in tears here.
The only other driver really in contention here is Danny Curl. Bobby Game is way too far back into the last lap, but it would mean that Litchfield will have to be sat off the side of the track for Danny Curl really to come through and win the race. That's not going to happen. So although Scott Allen is involved with Danny Curl, his family runs Danny Curl, there's not a lot he can do about this, to be honest. Scott will just be thinking about trying to win this race, to be fair. I'm not sure he'll even think about finishing second, but just a few corners to go.
Well, Allen has made up a huge amount of ground on Litchfield as they head for the last few corners. It's certainly not going to be in time for him to make... Oh my word, he's going for it! Up the inside, they come together! And Litchfield was very lucky to get away with that. He is going to take the win, but Allen came from absolutely nowhere. Litchfield gets it, and the championship. De Resta 3rd, and Bobby Game from the back to 4th.
Stefan, a podium, always a good way to finish the season.
Yeah, it's a good way to finish karting as well. It's my last race. We didn't expect much from the day. When we got here this weekend, been dieting all week and still got here and the scales went wrong. I think we came in this morning, we were 9 kilos over. And they say in the wet it doesn't help that much, but 9 kilos isn't helping out every corner. So I think the first 5 minutes we had Mark, and then my height just took its toll and we just ran out of power. And the last 10 minutes it was just about holding on.
So like your brother, we're going to see you in DTM at some point?
The plan was this year to go cars, but we couldn't raise the funds, so we'll go back to square one and try again next year. If we don't get the funds and that, I don't think it'll be anything. Karting's just too much out my depth now with my height and my weight.
Mark, congratulations, your 6th British title and no better way to win it.
No, with 2 wins in the last weekend, it's been really good. Coming into the weekend was obviously 5 points behind, but no, I've had a really good weekend apart from the heat yesterday, but no, 2 wins, that'll do me.
Well, he's done it, but I've only just got my breath back. Litchfield takes it from Bobby Game and Danny Curl, with Toby Sowery 4th, Luca Hurst 5th, and Stefan de Resta, who we just heard from, in 6th position. But what about that last lap move from Scott Allen on Mark Litchfield? I can't believe I saw something that dramatic. Allen We're going to have a look at a replay of this. Talk us through it.
Well, there's some talk in the paddock afterwards that this was deliberate and that Scott Allen was trying to take him out to benefit Danny Curl. That is absolute nonsense, because you can see he's braking and turning into the corner. If he wants to wipe out Mark Litchfield, he doesn't brake and drives him to him flat out.